Hello, welcome to my channel, Crafty Fox DIYs. This video is part of the 12 Days of Christmas, and today's theme is Reason for the Season. The hosts of the 12 Days of Christmas are Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY and Jackie from Crafting in Mimi's World. I will have links to their channels as well as the link to the playlist down in the description box below. Okay, let's get into it. For my first DIY, I am using this little sign here. It's kind of like a shadow box, and I'm just going to give the whole thing a coat of white paint. I'm not going to go heavy on the paint, but I do want to cover up the black frame and also the picture that was inside of it. And this is the picture that I'm going to use inside. It's a nativity picture. It's just a scrapbook paper. And I'm going to take the scrapbook page and I'm going to put it down inside on the, it's sort of like a tile on the inside of the shadow box. And I'm going to press all around the edges so that I can get an outline of where I need to cut the scrapbook page. So I'm just going to take my scissors and cut that out. And then I'm going to use a fan brush and some antique wax just to sort of distress the frame a little bit. I'm not going to do it a whole lot, just a little bit here and there so it's not so stark white. Then I'm going to put some Mod Podge on that middle tile, and I'm going to make sure that I cover it all the way really well because the picture is going to completely cover the tile. So now I'm going to take my scrapbook page and I'm going to place that down on top of the Mod Podge, and I'm just going to smooth it out real nice. Now, I don't want to add a whole lot of embellishments to this. I think it doesn't really need it. The picture speaks for itself. But I'm going to add some raffia into the bottom part of the shadow box. I'm just going to use some hot glue to secure it in place. And I'm going to take my paintbrush handle and help push it down inside there. And there that one is. Okay, now for the second DIY, I am going to be using this little angel here and this little baby Jesus, and I'm going to create a sort of a manger. I also have a set of battery operated fairy lights. Now I have, my base there, you can see that, and then I have my two side pieces, and I'm just using a combination of hot glue and wood glue to secure the side pieces to my base. And I'm going to put hot glue all the way around to make sure that they stay standing until that hot glue dries, or until the wood glue dries. Now on the top, I'm also using wood glue and hot glue so that I can put my top part on. And my side pieces, one is 4.5 inches and the other one is 5 inches. So that way it would sort of have an angle to it. Now all of my pieces of wood are different colors. So I just added some antique wax to the white paint that I had left over from the first project. And that way it's sort of a tan color, and painted everything so that it would all match. And then I took some antique wax, and this is actually a basting brush, but it's sort of like a chippy brush, but they had these on sale real cheap at Kroger, so of course I bought them and use them for crafting. So that's what that looks like now. Now I have my little baby Jesus in his manger, but I didn't want him to sit real low because this little grass like stuff that I have would cover him up. So what I decided to do was take a piece of styrofoam and I cut it to the right size, and then I glued the little grass stuff. It's sort of like raffia, but it's thicker and not as wide. It's thinner. And then after I got the baby Jesus glued onto the piece of styrofoam, then I'm going to glue the grass stuff all around, all on the bottom, all over the base. And then I'm going to take my scissors and trim it back some. Now I'm taking some raffia and I made a little bow, and I'm going to, just a shoestring bow, and I'm going to glue that on the corner there, and then I'm going to take the little tails on one side and glue that across the top, and then I'm just going to leave the other tails hanging down. Now I want to put my angel on top, but my roof is slanted, but I want her to be straight. So what I'm going to do is put some hot glue on one side so that way she will then stand up straight. So I'm just going to put the hot glue on just the one side, and then I just leaned her up against my glue bottle so she would stand upright till the glue hardened. Now I'm taking some of that little grass stuff and just kind of making like a little nest. I'm going to glue that on top, and then she will nestle down inside there, and then you won't be able to see where she's, got hot glue holding up one side of her. Now here's my fairy lights, and I just use some hot glue to secure it into place where I want them. I left my battery pack out kind of long so that way I can hide it behind things, or whatever I need to do so that it can't be seen. And then I also use some painter's tape to help hold the lights in place in certain areas, so that way the hot glue would have time to harden without the lights moving. So I just put them along the back, and then I went up each of the little side pieces, and then I also went around my angel because I want her to light up too. And then once I get all of that done, then I'm just going to take the extra lights and I'm going to wrap them all around the stable, and then I'm going to put some of the grass stuff on top, so that way you don't see the wires, but the light will still shine through. And there we go. I think it's beautiful. Okay, let's take one final look at both of these projects. Okay, that's all for this video. Let me know what you think of my Reason for the Season DIYs. Be sure to check the description box for links to the host channels, as well as a link to the playlist, so you can get all kinds of Reason for the Season DIY inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.